the North American season, and he needs to pick it up for Worlds.
And here we are, game 2. Coming out of Group B for this one. TSM versus SK Gaming. As we said, Gilius stepping in for Svenskeren throughout this. And we are going to see the game underway.
Well, one thing I never thought I'd hear in Taipei,
there you go,
is the TSM chant. Clearly the home favorites here,
perhaps,
here in Taiwan, who knows?
Coming out right away. So one thing that's always intrigued me about SK is they're the team that is all right with taking breaks, but they'll come back a little weaker than they usually do, and even did so coming into Worlds, but it's kind of a stop the burnout factor for them.
It's one of those teams, we talk about their sports psychologists frequently, but during this summer split, when they were slumping, when they came out of the slump, Candy Panda was very upfront about it. He said, we slumped because we were slacking off. We weren't practicing as much because we didn't want to burn out before the end of the season. They started grinding near the end of the season. They made it back into the playoffs. They gave Alliance a great run in the semifinals. Many people think SK was actually the second best team in Europe after playoffs. Of course, all of that changes with the Gilius substitution in the jungle right now. But it definitely has to be noted. Maybe they're going to be more fresh than other teams.
Yeah, and the Gilius substitution is obviously a big point in this one. But you would say, despite the fact he's, you know, a fresh-faced kid coming into this one, thrown into the World Championships, completely wouldn't have expected that. He was a challenger team not too long ago. He has performed brilliantly on Unicorns of Love. You cannot deny it. However, it is a very different team. That's all about supporting Power of Evil in the mid lane. Can he do the same with Jesus? Jesus is a completely different player to Power of Evil. Power of Evil will carry games, and Gilius will support him. And I gotta wonder, with Freddy being the shot caller, whether he's just gonna pull him towards that top lane or maybe down the bottom.
Well, you usually get the regular lane of Jesus kind of farming, being by himself. He didn't get a lot of attention from Svenskeren either.
Yeah, hopefully for SK, they have enough confidence to let him make his own decisions, because as soon as you start bossing a jungler around, you completely neutralize them as a player.
So down the bottom, immediate aggression. Will we see some level 2 plays from either of these teams? TSM playing it cautiously back towards the tower. Candy Panda shoving the wave in alongside N-Rated. It's been a long time since we saw a Sona down in this bottom lane.
I'm ready for it. I was watching a whole bunch of LGD games, and their support would often pair it with Graves, and they had a lot of success in the laning phase. The damage output, when they get both people in that new Q snuggle zone, they can get a whole bunch of damage when they decide to go for a trade.
Giving out all the hugs to start off the game. Looks like pretty on par for both junglers here as they start. We may get treatment for the bottom lane from both if they decide to go straight there. A lot of pressure in this game. We talk about pressure for Dyrus and being able to perform here. Did quite well in the playoffs for Team Solo Mid. Also talk about Jez's, who's talked about his confidence kind of being shaken. And he's quoted himself as that.
I have to really wonder what's going to happen in this mid lane. Bjergsen is just so good in the mid lane. And obviously, Jez's is not the most hyped mid laner. He just kind of has to get by. He's usually pretty consistent as well. This is a tough one, though.
Yeah, looks like Bjergsen's trying to set him up here, trying to force him off to the left-hand side. Amazing, ready and waiting to go, but doesn't look like he's taking the bait right now. Jez is going pretty deep on this one. He's in trouble. Can they get him down? Manages to dodge the Sonic Wave. Ignite was also used. Heal flash by Jez as Summoner spells burnt on both sides, but Jez is safe for now.
Gotta say, my boy's very impressed when an early level 3 Yasuo can get off that attack. You already have the wall or the Q up. They know it's coming. Jez has had to blow the flash.
Really nice move there by Bjergsen. Obviously fairly aggressive. If Gilius would have been there for a counter gank, it would have been rather dangerous. Amazing also burned his flash. So at the end of the day, it is a 2-for-2 summoner trade. Not actually that great of a thing for TSM.
Bottom lane still quite back and forth. More pressure in the mid lane. Jez is going to get a bit of attention from Gilius. So it's going to be different for them, but he is still going to play it safe and not show that Gilius is there. Good control by them.
This is tricky, I feel. Bjergsen well aware of the fact that if Jez is being that aggressive, that far up the lane, he knows there is Gilius waiting in the wings just off the side there. He calls in the reinforcements. Amazing waiting there. Doesn't look like we're going to see some play, but Jesus may well get caught out again here. Pulls defensive ball, will get knocked up. Here they go. Sonic Wave does catch this time around. First blood is coming. It's amazing that gets it for TSM.
That mid lane jungle synergy brought all the way over from Europe. Definitely starting to work out even more for TSM. Every single game, they seem to get better. Bjergsen now level 5 and should punish Jesses with no summoners.
And it's great. History repeats itself for TSM. Ooh, top lane Dyrus getting a little roughed up there by Freddy.
I talked to a lot of people about Alistar in the top lane, and I was actually one person that was of the opinion that you can manage him, especially with a Mundo. If you can somehow sustain through him, Doran shield Freddy with a lot of health regen as well. You remove his ability to out-harass you with Headbutt, and then you start turning around with more damage in team fights. It definitely feels like Freddy is ready for this one. That's why they didn't pick Maokai, because they wanted that matchup.
And one thing that always catches you out as a player is, of course, the fact that Alistar, without the ultimate, is squishy in all things. You think you're this big, giant tank. Without items, you can be handled. Freddy returns, teleport used by both top laners to come back in there, and they immediately go straight back at it, going straight in with that headbutt.
Freddy almost certainly has health regen runes in that top lane. Currently with the Giant Spell, he's at 49 health regen per 5 seconds. He's really going to be able to withstand that Dyrus headbutt, and it's basically a neutralized farm lane. There is no bully potential from Dyrus in that lane anymore.
Amazing. Looks like he wants to get Freddy a little bit of aggression here in the top lane. Jesus trying to keep himself safe there, and it looks like Freddy's gonna have a little bit of trouble. Amazing, slowly waiting on the outside. Gilius nowhere near this one.
Trying to go before Freddy has his ultimate, but he's still pretty tanky.
Is he going to be tanky enough? Flashes out, Sonic Wave catches on, but he can just walk away from this one, as you mentioned, with that giant belt on him. Yeah, is no problem for him. One thing that has happened though, Jesus forced back to lane early on there, had to go and respect it, goes for the cloth armor.
Fantastic pickup there by Freddy. Almost nullifies the fact that you can dive that Mundo before 6 and get him down. I like it a lot. Back down to the bottom lane. Candy Panda is really using a lot of that mana to get himself in range. Wild Turtle and Mustboy continue the harass from this lane that has come so far this season for Team Solo Mid.
Both are very close to level 6 right now. You can see they're sizing each other up, seeing who can land it. Will it be the wave? Will it be the crescendo that starts things off? Of course, Dragon could easily follow. This is the right time. The junglers are up in the top half of the jungle, so it's both really a straight-up duel between these two. And Radiant taking some damage. It's TSM that you would feel are in the stronger position right now, but that crescendo in the right point can be critical.
They still have Wild Turtle on Trist. If they can get him out of the laning phase unscathed, it's a huge boon for TSM. Even when he was getting beaten in laning phase, he was still having good team fights with Trist, and they're going even actually down bottom.
Gilius back to the mid lane, just for a cross, making sure Amazing isn't trying to make a return pass, but it looks like TSM is happy with that first kill they got here. It's going to definitely give them a spike if they go for that first fight, but they're going to have to be careful. It is a great fight team coming from SK. More pressure to the bottom lane here. No shots on either turret yet, but you can just see how dominant Wild Turtle is on that Tristana.
Tricky stuff in this bottom lane. Level 6, imminent between the two. Junglers are down in the lower half of the jungle, and Dyrus, he is on a warpath.
This is the Alistar dive. He can't do anything to Freddy, so why not go mid for Jesses?
Right into the wall, will stop him up for a little bit longer. The synergy comes in from the Mad Cow. Jez is ignited, Jez is down.
The only way Jesses lives through that is if he flashes while Dyrus is trying to headbutt him. He does not, he gets displaced. Bjergsen ults on top. It is a systematic, well-executed gank by TSM.
And the blue also being stolen away by Amazing. He took his own, now he's going to take theirs, and that's a big problem for Jesses. He needed to get hold of that. He needs to try to keep up with Bjergsen. You can see the CS difference is starting to become huge between them, and he knew that coming into this game that Bjergsen versus Jesses was going to be a critical point. And now we're going to get a 3v2 dive on bottom.
It's in a ward though. Gilius will try and counter gank this one, but Amazing goes in.
Oh, not quite going to land it. Candy Panda. Gilius tries to react, comes across, catches the crescendo on Amazing, and that is the first kill for SK. That was right on the point, the edge of the crescendo, but N-Rated landed it.
What a spectacular shot right there by N-Rated. Doesn't even have to burn flash. Definitely well practiced on Sona. That's exactly what SK needed to just stay survived in this game. Gilius has been completely outmatched by Amazing up until that point where the ward of the bottom lane and the crescendo of the bottom lane is able to help him out against the enemy jungler.
Another Giant's belt coming in for Freddy here. Looks like he's got to keep his pants up a little bit more. This lane, definitely going to be a long fight lane if it goes down to it. We see the Triforce already coming out here for Dyrus. Things getting crazy up there.
Yeah, and I wonder if that Amazing play would have pulled off. That would have been a Dragon for TSM, I feel, but it's definitely put stops on that one. It's delayed it for a while. We talked about SK's weak laning phase. It is very much showing right here. The mid lane, of course, big, strong, dominant force. Wild Turtle on Tristana. If he can get going on that ahead of Illusion, it is a win in lane phase regardless. The top lane, big difference in farm, but Dyrus has already roamed. He's already got himself assist.
Everything TSM has used has been towards Bjergsen, and that's really their power point right now. He's got a 2-level advantage onto Jess's. I suppose SK is trying to come back by just building multiples of the same items, double giant spell, triple longsword. At this point, they're still in a little bit of trouble though because Bjergsen is very powerful.
Could be difficult. However, if Amazing continues to make aggressive plays, it will give them small windows to come back. Will he check the brush? Possibly not, but another ward goes down. They're pre-warding these to make sure they have consistent vision throughout the jungle.
Gilius spotted out by that ward of TSM. There's the Cullen being used. Wild Turtle healed straight up by Lustboy. No problems there. Double buff still on Candy Panda, remember, from that earlier gank by Amazing. That's about to wear off. Gilius, a little bit of counter jungling here, but Amazing. He's creeping around the back of Jesus, but he's spotted.
If this turns into a 2v2 of any kind, TSM would come out on top, which is why Jesus has to run away. However, Gilius gets a little bit caught.
Wards everywhere, and they're going to be able to give some protection to Gilius. He's forced to flash over the wall. Tough game for him. He is getting warded out everywhere.
It's going to be a tough series. He just got thrown into the World Championship, obviously, and he is struggling a little bit here.
Even the wards they're placing on the top side that aren't seeing Gilius is alerting TSM of where he is on the map. If he hasn't crossed the top side, then he's in the bottom. Let's make a gank here. They're using everything to their advantage, and every lane seems to have a good one of that.
Bjergsen is completely honed in right now as well, and because Amazing is just setting up camp right there, there's nothing SK can really do to come back here unless Bjergsen makes a mistake. He's completely landing all the skill shots, keeping the pressure up, and the ward coverage is immaculate around where he is right now.
Yeah, completely manhandled. There is a ward spotting this one. They know that this dragon is going down. I don't think they're going to do anything about it other than get a timer. You see SK sneaking in, but immediately the call's been given back away. You're never going to get close to this one. Gilius was not there. So, first dragon, big objective for TSM, gives them a fairly substantial goal lead just 12 minutes into this game.
They're playing very well, very controlled, and it's kind of the way TSM always wants to play. They focus around Bjergsen so he can be a playmaker late game. And the biggest thing here is their bottom lane is actually winning.
A lot of praises sung towards Team Solo Mid as they were boot camping a bit. Lustboy having great play throughout all that practice. And TSM has definitely changed a few things about their gameplay. Getting that aggressive early start, and it's really paying off. 13 minutes onto this one. Not much pressure from Gilius in this bottom lane, and Candy Panda and N-Rated have been at that turret the majority of the time.
Jez has absolutely struggled. 30 CS behind on Bjergsen absolutely has been the focus, and why not? It's well known that he is the weak point of SK Gaming in that mid lane, completely leaving the top lane alone. Dyrus and Freddy have been on the island untouched, and you know, it's a gigantic tank versus a gigantic tank, so no surprises.
And we can see the overall gold lead here being about 2.5 thousand. 1,200 of that is in the mid lane. So it is just them absolutely picking on Jesses right now. And I think they're just going to continue this. There's nothing drastic that TSM needs to do. They need to continue to set up some ganks, obviously on Jesses. If they push him back far enough, then Bjergsen can begin roaming. But they're really just trying to work from the mid lane outwards towards the rest of the map.
And Jesses is so piecing together his build. His spike will be so far away, trying to get a few items in there. And then Bjergsen coming out so strong already. Has to put in that Seeker's Arm guard. TSM once again towards the blue. Gilius able to figure it out. Looks like they get away nice and clean.
This could well be the first claps we see. And the first big team fight, honestly. This blue buff, is it worth fighting over? TSM, little unsure on this one. They're buying time instead for the mid lane. They are going to give this one up. That means, or are they? Amazing tries to land it sneakily at the end there. Trying to force a smite, I think, from Gilius. They did use it. Jesus gets the blue, though.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. There's still a lot of pressure lost there by SK just to secure their blue buff. One thing I will say is even though SK's not buying a whole bunch of wards, they got pretty good value in the wards they are actually buying.
Uh-oh. Oh, indeed. Everybody swarming the top lane here. Freddy using his ultimate early on this one. So it's going to be wearing off. Flashes it. They're getting what they want. Blocking the business.
Whether they can push out or whether they're going to get punished for it, that's the question. Crescendo on the Wild Turtle. He's going to get locked up, but is it enough? Great disengage from Lost Boy. The wave, the Aqua Prison, everything lands. And TSM just walk away.
Pretty sweet move there by N-Rated using Crescendo from the Fog of War, though. Definitely catching Wild Turtle a little bit out of position, but they're able to get out thanks to the fantastic play from Lost Boy.
As we said, getting those praises sung, and he's showing it here on the stage as well, keeping consistent play up. That gold lead isn't getting much farther away, so SK has been able to stave off the advantage TSM has now, but Amazing is getting everything. Bjergsen's not needing blue buffs. He is getting big. Level 10 to Gilius' 9, still getting warded out in his jungle. TSM on a good path right now.
One thing that has actually worked well for Jez is the fact that he's built into this. You just saw there, while he did get a little bit of damage on him from Bjergsen, it didn't do as much this time. He's got them Seeker's Arms Guard. It has delayed his build. You can see he hasn't got that Athenes yet, but he's built correctly. Hasn't managed to stick to his path, built against what he needs. And it is going to be a simple game of delaying for SK Gaming, honestly. They need to get a lot of items on Jesus, but the fact is, Bjergsen is going to have those 2 critical items before he gets there.
And I feel like Freddy is just hoping he has enough armor to withstand a late game Wild Turtle. As far as TSM goes, especially with the Trinity Force Alistair, they are a full attack damage team. So armor stacking actually will work very well against them if they can get to reasonable levels of gold difference. At the moment, TSM is still outpacing them a little too quickly, but if this was an even gold game late and SK itemized appropriately with a lot of armor, they would actually have an item edge in that sense because their defensive items would be much more efficient.
Such a spike right now coming in for Team Solo Mid. Gilius gets hit up. That's just the Shiv and the Q. A little bit of pain. Barn ahead on items, a minute on Dragon, and they're going to look to pressure that quite nicely. Forced to back off. Gilius heads back to the jungle. Looks like he's cleaning up what he can. Still warded out on the top side. They are not making it easy for the newcomer.
I can't tell whether that was gutsy reaction from Gilius to not flash there or simple shock. It was just like, I've just lost half my hit points, guys. I don't know what happened.
He had Orianna right behind him, so
yeah,
obviously Bjergsen was just being a little bit safe. It was still real scary, though. Sightstone on Lee Sin very early as well. Lizard Elder, for a second I thought it was a Sightstone Kha'Zix, but no, that's just a normal build for me.
Gilius can't get next to a brush without getting hit. Jess Bjergsen getting his own ultimate in. Oh, the Sonic Wave doesn't quite hit, but the safeguard comes in. He cleans it up with the last Q.
What a slick move there by TSM. I thought they were leaving him a little bit extra alive, knowing he'd still have a shockwave to suck him back in. Amazing, making it out just in the nick of time, barely taking any damage.
Oh, Crescendo does not land this time around, and that's the Aqua Prison followed by the bubble. Brilliant play, but then Raiden gets away. Wild Turtle not gonna get turned around. Candy Panda wants to pursue, but Amazing's coming in around the side. Candy gets back up towards him, comes around the backside and ready. Sonic Wave doesn't land. No reactions. Bjergsen comes in. Dyrus teleports in.
They're so dead.
5-man pylon in the bottom. SK Gaming in all sorts of trouble. Freddy comes down to join the party, but he's simply just another death for TSM. That's a double for Wild Turtle. 3 for 0. Fantastic play by TSM.
Sometimes when you're under a turret, you just have to give up. At that point, the teleport was completely wasted. TSM had a monstrous advantage. There was no escape, and SK just makes matters worse.
Wow! Gilius going down. Jess is in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the cow comes in to give him the what for. Picking up the Dragon. This train is rolling down the tracks way too quick for SK.
Something about TSM games, they play slow, they play slow, and then they explode. Seemingly kills all around the map. Obviously, this one was a crazy, crazy fight. The shield surprising Wild Turtle at the last second, getting him low. Amazing gets in behind them. Almost the fact that he was missing these spells just made matters worse because it delayed the inevitable. Warding to allow Dyrus with the turret dive. Freddy Really bad teleport right there. Did not even have his ultimate, just teleported in to dive. A 5-man dive with the damage reduction from an Alistair is easy pickings there for TSM.
And honestly, I completely question why on earth they decided to engage Bjergsen back in that mid lane. When Gilius came back in, they already saw the damage he was doing. There's simply not enough ability power for Jesus to put that shield on and return the damage back to Bjergsen. Simple, easy double kill for him. And now, when a Yasuo is at 4-0-2, you have big problems.
And Bjergsen as well, giving the shot caller a lead in the game. Top lane indeed, trying to lock down once more onto Freddy. He should be all right on this one, backing off. Like you said, Jat, sometimes you gotta leave that turret.
This turned into a stomp very quickly. 9,000 gold at 20 minutes.
They took advantage of Gilius. They did.
That's not a goalie to come back. They took advantage of everyone.
This is true.
On SK, it really feels like the bottom lane stood true. Freddy, he was trying to pull a stalemate lane, but he could not control Dyrus's roam. And every member of TSM has contributed. No one more than Bjergsen though.
Good lord, Freddy in trouble. He's going down. Flash is out, but that's not going to be enough. You cannot survive the damage that Bjergsen has. And that's with a Randian Zome and Giant Spell and a Chain Vest. He still gets shredded. Dyrus turning on towards Candy Panda. 2v1. Has he got the damage? I think Candy Panda must have gone deep on towards the tower to have this much damage.
He's got that drive. Dyrus is holding Candy Panda and Enbraden hostage right now as TSM runs amok on the map.
Oh, Gilius going down. What? Turtle finds himself a target. Dyrus bullies out two. Both Candy Panda and Enbraden. Middle lane is wide open. It's only Jesus that's holding ground, and Bjergsen fancies it. Maybe he's going to sniff for it. No. Early Baron.
Why not? Why not? Everything's going on for them. 10,000 gold lead. They built a bloodthirster on Yasuo, which we've seen from a few players, actually. Yeah. I'll let the analyst desk cover that one because I want them to talk about bloodthirster on Yasuo. More lifesteal, a little bit of a shield, less solo potential, but this is just absolute domination.
That's a really good way to put it. At the playoffs, Reginald said, play it like a scrim. Let's see this one more time.
Yeah, Gilius.
What the hell was he thinking?
You made a big mistake right there. Wild Turtle is really strong. Did he even evolve? That's just
forcing yourself to make
tilt
plays.
Play. I mean, that's a Kha'Zix that has evolved his spikes and his leap, trying to solo and isolate a target. Maybe if he maxed and evolved Q, maybe then he could take down Wild Turtle. If not, he has no chance.
And it's going to get harder and harder. 3 static shifts across the board. Every lane is going to be pushing at max speed right now. And TSM is not going to be stopping. SK finally putting everything back into the middle. Freddy still loves to go for the 1-4, so he's going to try and keep Dyrus at bay. But it's only going to be too long. It's not going to be too long before TSM's right in the base.
Could we legitimately be seeing the first time TSM make it out of a group stage at Worlds? They are looking strong here, honestly.
Not getting too far ahead.
No doubt about it. Well, technically you could argue they were in the quarterfinals at Season 2, but that's because they got a direct seed there. TSM, though, legitimately have come to this World Championships with the best chance they've ever had, and we're hearing absolutely great things about them from scrims.
They have 2 games today as well. There's 3 different teams in their group. TPA, they will not play today. Starhorn Royal Club, they will. And they're going to have a lot of momentum after this one because they have put on a spectacular performance here. Just looking for more. They got 3 static shivs. They got a 13,000 gold lead. Make that 13,500. And there's no reason for them to stop here.
It's going up. They're definitely going to need the Swiss bank soon on this one. Inhibitor turret's going to be going down. 24 minutes are coming up. Out in the game, it could be SK going for broke here. They do deter Team Solo mid just a little bit. And Freddy calls himself in. Here we go. The fight. Turtle gets hit up. Will he be able to keep it going? Everybody's jumping in and going for broke this time. Gilius gets hit up, thrown down in the box, and they go for Freddy towards the fountain. He's going to go down. They're aced in their base at 23.5 minutes. And the surrender for Game 2 at World's Group Stages comes in from SK. Team Solo Mid takes the game 15-1.
What a way to start against a wounded SK Gaming that was not together in this one. But they definitely knew how to finish that time. That is the fastest, most decisive game I have probably seen from TSM since they formed this roster for sure. And to do it on the world stage in their first game is spectacular.
You gotta think Bjergsen, caller, the man of the moment for TSM, and by God did he perform on Yasuo this early on. From the very get-go, he looked like a man on a mission.
I don't even know how to finish this one because the game got out of hand so quickly. We were like 14, 15 minutes in. SK was doing all right, you know. They were just hanging around, thinking maybe Mundo can get to a point, and then it was over.
I got to focus on the point that TSM adapted to that misplay so quickly. Amazing went in, and they didn't do it ever again. They didn't make a wrong call after that. They were in the game, and they were ready to just take the win. Knowing they had the advantage, TSM played as they usually do. Loco Doco coming around, the team says the 6th player of the team, and he's been paying off for him.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. TSM coming in strong in the first game of Group B.
The game was so fast. That was a 24-minute game. You don't see games that fast really anymore happen. And sure, SK surrendered, but that's because their Nexus was probably going to die. They'd just been completely aced inside of their base.
I would say they've done it to Alliance as well. They've had that against them. 24 minutes, boom, done. Thank you very much. We've had to give up the ghost. They've done it themselves. They've had some fast games, but we talked about the lane phase. We talked about how SK will start slow, and TSM coming into this one clearly well aware of that fact and putting the pressure points where it was needed. You know, you got to talk about the bottom lane. A lot of questions were on Wild Turtle coming into this game, but with Lustboy alongside him, the safety net is there. And clearly, you know, the harness is strong with that one because there was a lot of big disengages coming out from Lustboy.
The bottom lane played good, not great. The reason the Wild Turtle was able to come out 5-0-3 is because Bjergsen played great.
And you got to think, you know, coming against Starhorn later on today against Uzi, it's a big, big question mark.
I can't wait. That's going to be the last game of the day, Game 6. And if we continue having 23-minute games,
could be a quick day.
Pretty soon.
So here's the thing. Obviously, Team Solo Mid not caught in a trap game. They did what they wanted, but that was a great point. They just went in and made a composition. Can they do that against Royal Club, or are they going to be forced to back and forth with those picks and bans?
I don't think so. That composition was a little bit too perfect for TSM. Everyone having knock-up synergy with Bjergsen, being able to set up mid-lane ganks that could not be countered by SK. They got absolutely everything. Lustboy got to play Nami, right?
Yeah.
Please, someone. You know, they're not even using early picks on it.
It was like history repeats itself in the beginning of the game. Just another generation of Reginald and having Odd One in his back pocket to start off a game.
Well, so should we talk about Dyrus in that top lane? Because, you know, it was a fairly solid game. Didn't really get too much involvement, but his teleport was the one that counted when they piled down the bottom lane.
He played like Dyrus when Dyrus plays well. You don't really notice him until he's winning the game for you, right? Like he was withstanding a Mundo in lane, and then he made a great play mid, he made a great play bottom, and that really catapulted the game.
That's right. All right, so we're going to send it over to Shox right now, who's on stage for a...
Much, Riv. First off, congratulations, Bjergsen. There is not much more that you can hope for getting a first game like that here at the World Championship. Talk me through the strategy, very much focusing on your mid lane in the beginning.
It was just pretty much how the game or the picks worked out. We weren't expecting them to give us all these power picks like Nami on Lost Boy, we have Alistar, we got Lee Sin on Amazing. We just got all these really good comfort champions and all these champions that these players are basically known for, and it just led into a really good comp overall.
Absolutely, and Reggie was saying how you guys would have strong laners. You got all of those, and then the team synergy for SK was praised by Reginald, but you guys didn't even have to deal with that. Tell me how the game snowballed out of control.
It was just pretty much the way the lane was set up mid. We managed to get a gank off, and I think as soon as you get a kill on a stage like this, everyone just feels like you're in control and you know exactly what to do and you're just on point. And I feel like as soon as you get just a couple kills, everyone knows what to do, everyone's on the same page, and everyone feels like this is where we need to go and that we're the better team.
Well, it is a fantastic start for you guys in this group. Talk me through your thoughts on the group overall. Great first game. Do you think SK won't be about it for you guys anymore, and who will be?
They're kind of like a weird team. We haven't been able to get that much other than what they've just been playing in their own scene. But I think they're just a really strong team, and they have a lot of specific picks that they play really well, and we need to be ready for that. And it's not something we've been able to practice against.
Well, then let's look forward to that game, because it is, of course, the last game of the day here versus Starhorn Royal Club, and going up against a Chinese mid laner, a wholly different style. How are you feeling going into that?
I've been playing against Wei Zhao in NA for a while, and he's just a great player. So I'm ready for a lot of different things, and I've heard that Chinese players they can play a lot of different mids, they can be very versatile, and I can't wait to play against their aggression.
I can't wait to see what you pull out. Thank you very much. Congratulations.